Dealing with stress, you're not alone. We've got the executive director at the American Institute of Stress, Heidi, and she's going to tell us how to cope with problems by using a beach state of mind, something almost all of us are familiar with here in San Diego.
That's right.
I didn't know there was an association, American Institute of Stress.
Yeah, it surprises a lot of people that we actually have an institute that studies stress, but it's pretty fascinating to me because it's something everyone deals with, but most people actually don't know what's happening and they don't know how to define it, so it ends up just kind of being a bucket that we throw all of our garbage into. You know, I'm feeling stressed. But there's a lot we can actually do to train ourselves to be more resilient and actually use stress to fuel positive change.
And so that's what brings us to the beach state of mind.
That's right. So, I mean, I moved to San Diego to be closer to the ocean, and our partners in this research study, Reef, came to us and actually said, you know, we believe that when people are at the beach, they're healthier and they're happier. And we're curious if there's any research that supports that. And it turns out there's a ton of research that supports specifically what happens when you're physically at the ocean or near the ocean. Things like negative ions in the air based on the salt water and the movement of the salt water. We know that watching that waves crashing is kind of meditative for people. And of course, being in the salt water is really good for our skin.
Catching a wave like this is very therapeutic.
Catching a wave is so therapeutic. And a lot of studies have actually shown that surfing is a great way for people to experience a parasympathetic or relaxation response. So what we're curious about is there a way to train yourself to access the benefits of the beach when you can't get there?
And is there a way?
And there is. So we're looking at the specific components that actually help us to get into that beach state of mind, things like that meditative sound. So it turns out that just listening to sounds of the ocean is more relaxing than relaxation music or white noise. A lot of people listen to sounds of the ocean to fall asleep, for example. You can also use aromatherapy that will mimic the experience of those negative ions and actually feel more calm and more relaxed. And then one of my favorites is actually just taking off your shoes and letting your feet be free and like really feeling the sensation of the earth. There's a lot of studies on a concept called grounding, which is connecting with the earth, and the foot has more sensations and more nerve endings than any other place in the body. So you can actually kind of tap into that and train your brain to get into that relaxed state. And one of the techniques I actually used this morning is trying out beach hair, for example, like just letting yourself be fun and flexible and free with your state of mind, whether you're at work or at home.
Even if you were to just, I would imagine, open a bottle of suntan lotion and smell it, that would be a stimulation to take you right back to the beach mentally.
Absolutely. And especially if you can kind of close your eyes and imagine that you're there and allow yourself to listen to sounds of the ocean crashing or just get your breathing pattern into a nice, consistent rhythm, then the smell will actually become something that we call a neural cue. So that every time you smell that, you'll be taken back to that place. And we know that sensations like smell or sound will actually trigger a part of the brain that is very strong at cueing memories and actually cueing physical sensations.
And talk to us about positive and negative ions, because in our conversation here, you say negative ions, and to somebody who doesn't know the difference, you might think that's a negative, you don't want negative ions, but they're actually very good for us.
It's really good for us. So it turns out that artificial electricity, artificial movement and sound can create positive ions, which makes us think it's something good for us, but it's actually a positive charge that's really disruptive to the human system. So the negative ions are actually missing a charge, and so it kind of acts like an antioxidant that you would eat in your body that can help absorb free radicals. A negative ion that you breathe and consume can have a lot of those same benefits for actually healing the body. So they've been shown to enhance immune function and decrease inflammation, things that are really important for our health.
Yeah, I once read that people get frustrated in traffic and it leads to road rage sometimes, and that one reason is because you are literally sitting in a positive ion charging machine, and it's kind of affecting your overall being.
That's right, and depending on what you're listening to, if you're listening to negative news, or if you're listening to aggravating music, or, you know, gosh, you're on a phone call and you're getting annoyed with your boss, you are literally sitting in a charged stress mobile. And so you need some sort of outlet for that. Negative ions can be an outlet. Physical exercise can be an outlet for that. And going to the beach or just thinking about the beach can be a good outlet for that too.